All right, everybody. This is Season 9, Week 5 of Scrims Zone. Tonight's game that we have is Albert's Inferno versus Andromeda. We can see the standings on screen right now. Andromeda is 4-0, and Albert's Inferno is 1-2. I think this is going to be a pretty interesting game. The teams have very distinct play styles that I think we're going to get to see clashing as we start to look at. Let's see how I do this. Here we go. As we look at the two teams here, we have Albert's Inferno. Last I checked, they were on blue side, but that seems to be the most up-to-date information. And so we can take a look at champions here. Hold on. Yeah, as we look at the champions to watch here for the two teams, we see that we have Fishy. Obviously, he is very well known for his Lilia. He's not a top lane player traditionally, but I know he's been practicing that a lot, and he's been doing pretty well in their games. But obviously known for his Lilia. Arnier, on the other hand, is one of the veteran top laners for the server, and he is most known for his Renekton. But we'll see what he'll decide to play today. And going down to the jungle, Albert, one of our newer players, the namesake of the Albert's Inferno team here. He, I suppose, is most known for his Amumu, according to this, but we have seen him play a lot of Skarner in the past. Bean, on the other hand, has been known for his big three picks. He plays a lot of Darius in the jungle, plays a lot of Singed in the jungle, and he plays Warwick. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some bans go over to that champion. I mean, especially we see his Darius is kind of a menace. Darius jungle, not something you traditionally think of as being good, but he seems to make it work. He's 9-3 with a 4 KDA on it, which is pretty impressive. Omar and Sarvis, I think it's going to be a really interesting matchup today. They're both known for they're both Syndra players. Sarvis has been absolutely tearing it up this season. If you give him that Syndra, it seems he's unbeatable. So it'll be interesting to see what Albert's Inferno does with their blue side here. I wouldn't be surprised to see them pick Syndra first pick to take that away from Sarvis and put Omar on something he's comfortable on. Teddy, again, one of the oldest ADCs on the server, not age-wise, but legacy-wise. He's been playing for a very long time, since before Season 1, I believe. And he is very much a scaling player. We see on here, he's played a lot of Jinx in the past. 23-10 on that champion with a 3.5 KDA. Not bad at all, really, really quite good. And he's up against Coffee, who has been playing champions like Ashe and Caitlyn recently. Again, quite comfortable on those, and I think it'll be interesting to see how those two bot lanes interact, because Coffee likes to play his more aggressive early game champions, and Teddy very much a late game player. Jeremy, enchanter player, as far as we can tell. Plays a lot of enchanters, which matches up with Teddy's playstyle pretty well. And Sam, absolute monster on that Thresh, as we see there. 6 KDA average with not a huge sample size, but also nothing to scoff at there. And then, whoops. There we go. Key matchup for today is going to be Omar versus Sarvis. I think it's going to be a really interesting matchup, like I said earlier, because they both have been playing a lot of Syndra. Omar is mostly a Cassiopeia one trick, and seems to be falling back on that Syndra whenever it gets banned. But again, he's been playing really well this season, getting some really good games in. Sarvis, like I said earlier, though, is absolutely destroying everybody he comes up against. So. And he seems to have a pretty wide champion pool. His Syndra tends to get banned or picked against him, and he's been falling back to some other really good champion. On Albert's Inferno, the key player is going to be Teddy. Um, as as I discussed earlier, he likes to play scaling champions. I suspect that they're going to be playing very heavily around him. That seems to be the case in the past, and he's been doing really, really well for this team. He's consistently been putting out good KDAs, getting good performances. It hasn't fully translated into series wins, but I'm sure we'll get to see him perform well, and hopefully he'll be able to carry his team to victory this series. I actually don't know why this is the case. I would put the key player for Andromeda as Sarverus, but the automatic determination has decided that it's Sam S. But that being said, he is a very good player. 5.16 average KDA on the server is very, very, very good. 50.9% win rate, about average. I mean, 50%, but he is a very good aggressive player. So we'll see how that works into Sam S and the Hong Baba bot lane, because they tend to like to play very passive, sit back, farm, scale, and enjoy the game. We've already been over champions to watch, but again, I'd like to reiterate that I think this bot lane matchup is going to be really interesting. Individual player-wise, I think it's Omar versus Sarverus is still going to be pretty fun to see. But the bot lanes, I think, are going to be the linchpin. If Andromeda is able to get their bot lane ahead and put the scaling Teddy and Jeremy lane behind, then it's going to be a really good key to victory for them. Where's draft links? Oh my gosh, draft links apparently doesn't exist according to my Discord. Apologies, give me one moment. Okay. And draft is I'm going to be a little bit late with this one, but give me one moment. This is not actually what the draft looks like. Here we go. This is what the draft looks like so far. Apologies for missing it, but Andromeda really respecting that bot lane. Like I said, I think their bot lane for Albert's Inferno is really the linchpin for the team. And also, as I predicted, we're going to see the Syndra first picked away. Bans coming out for Singed for Bean. He has also been playing a lot of Vi, and Arnier has been very comfortable on this Jax this season so far, so we'll see what happens. Coffee seems to be sticking to his comfort, first picking the Ashe. I think it's a pretty safe blind pick, especially into the champions that Teddy tends to play. I honestly, if I were Albert's Inferno, I wouldn't be surprised to see Teddy pick up the Twitch. It is a champion that he's played in the past, and it also is a very, very strong champion right now. So we'll see how it goes. If they decide to pick that, what else they decide to do. Andromeda, on the other hand, taking a while with their pick right now. I'm not exactly sure what they're looking to do here, as it is going to be the Braum. Ashe Braum, a very, very strong lane with good reason. Braum tends to be more of a disengaged champion, so we'll see how that goes. But Ashe Braum, you have so much CC in the bot lane. Freljord champions tend to synergize well together, and yeah, I mean, it's going to be really hard to try and sit back and scale into those two, as Jeremy seems to be picking up the Nami for himself. That's going to be locked in. A really good lane bully enchanter that might be able to try and match what Andromeda are going to do. As we do see the Lilia picked up for Fishy in the top lane. Like I said, this is something he's known for in the jungle. He's recently moved to top lane for this season, and interesting, a very fun pick for him to pick up there. As we do see Bean pick up, lock in the Nocturne for himself. Not too unsurprised. Actually, that is pretty surprising. I haven't seen him pick the Nocturne this season yet. I'm excited to see how that does for him. As we get into the second round of bans, the unpicked roles for Albert's Inferno are ADC and jungle. Yep. And there's the Twitch ban. Like I said, I wouldn't be surprised to see Teddy play that champion. It's very strong right now, and it's definitely up his alley with him liking to pick scaling champions. I don't necessarily know what is really left on the table for him to pick here. I'm sure he has something planned, as we do see the Yone banned out. Sarverus is very scary on that champion. And given that Albert's Inferno has already picked 2 of their 3 tank roles and don't have a tank yet, an all AD comp is still a big threat to them. Second ban for Andromeda. Maybe a Sivir, Tristana, something like that. I know that those any champion that likes to build Yuntal in the ADC role is pretty strong right now, as we do see a set ban. I'm not sure. Maybe Andromeda suspects that Albert is picking, that they're going to flex that Lilia into the jungle, and beyond Lilia, Fishy's second most played champion is the set, and we see the respect ban of the Asol from into Sarverus. As an Olaf locked in, that's going to be Arnier on the Olaf. We haven't seen him pick that very often, but I'm excited to see how it goes. It's going to be really good into the Lilia. You can completely ignore the sleep and just keep running at her. As Teddy is looking at the Xayah and the Kaisa, I think Xayah is pretty good into Andromeda's comp. You have so much dive and so much CC with the Olaf, the Nocturne, plus the Braum Ashe is good. As we might see the Zeri here, this is a champion that Teddy is very much known for. He is a Vayne Zeri player. Vayne Zeri Jinx, I would say. And him not being afraid to lock in Zeri is really good. As we do see the Skarner lock in for Albert. This is his most played champion this season, and I think for good reason. He's been performing very well on it. As the final lock, let's see what Sam picks for his team. This is going to be the Sarverus pick. Leaving him for last pick makes a lot of sense. He's been your carry this season, and so putting him on counter pick, letting him see the entire enemy team before he decides what he wants to play is very much beneficial. I don't know what he's going to pick here. He'll surprise me. TF. We haven't seen this champion in a while. Very excited to see it. Very excited to see it, as we're going to move into a slight delay while I set up assets. All right, so let's see how these champions have done historically on the server this season. We can see that the Lilia top is basically only Fishy playing it, and he is pretty even on it. So, Olaf surprisingly has not been played very much by any of our players, and Nocturne. Oh my goodness, sorry, I'm bouncing all over the place. But Nocturne is quite not a good champion apparently in this server. I'm honestly pretty surprised to see that, but I guess none of our high power top junglers really play it very often. Bean, we'll see. Bean, if there is a player who can make it work, it's probably Bean. So we'll see how that goes. Skarner is a pretty popular pick. I know that Noam and some other players have been playing it a lot. So we'll see how this goes. Albert, of course, very much known for it. And Syndra, we have a lot of Syndra players in the server. So very, very excited to see Omar playing that. Twisted Fate not picked as much. It's 0-3 on the server, 1.6 KDA. We don't really see that many. Zeri, I'm pretty surprised that Zeri has such a low win rate. A lot of our Zeri play comes from Teddy, and he's definitely known as a really good Zeri player. So we'll see, maybe he can get it to work this game. Moving on to, oh wait, hold on. This is for this season. Okay. And that makes sense because, especially with the Zeri is not very good. Has not been very good recently. And oh my goodness, we have a lot of Nami players. That's the only thing I'm going to comment on this slide. We have a lot of Nami one tricks. And they do tend to get their champion pretty often. Champion matchups. Obviously the Lilia Olaf has never been played. Skarner into Nocturne. None of these matchups have been played very often except the bot lane. Skarner Nocturne. Woof, that's rough for the Nocturne, but it was only one game. Syndra TF only ever played once. Zeri Ashe, I don't really know the context in which these two games were played, but we do see that Ashe tends to get the better end of the matchup here, despite Zeri having a higher KDA. I don't really know how the matchup goes, but I imagine Ashe does pretty well into Zeri because she's a very mobility-based champion, and Ashe can point and click slow you. There is a lot of CC on the side of Andromeda to try and deal with that Zeri. So you have the point and click stun from the TF, you have the Nocturne Fear, which is rather point and click. Ashe R, Braum Q, Braum R, Braum passive. There's a lot of ways to try and catch out this Zeri and make sure that she's not able to do what she wants. Same honestly goes for Lilia. I mean, you have Zeri, Lilia, which are two champions that like to move around a lot and run around and try to not get hit. But you also have a lot of champions on Andromeda that their goal is to not let you move around. So pretty interesting drafts. I will say I think I'm favoring Andromeda a little bit in this draft. It is, I think that Albert's Inferno overall has a really coherent strategy. You're trying to buff up the Zeri, and you know, you're trying to just run at the enemy team and go for big team fights. Same thing kind of with Albert's Inferno. You probably would just want to throw the Olaf in a side lane for somebody to come match you. You don't really have any players on the side of Albert's Inferno who want to match the Olaf in the side lane. And then Nocturne, Ashe, Braum, TF are all really big pick chance. So you're going to be trying to look for angles with the TF Nocturne combo where you see everybody and then the Nocturne and TF can dash onto anybody on the map. Once you get that, you can throw an Ashe R in the mix and you have the makings of a really good pick comp. I think Andromeda's strategy this game should be to probably throw the Olaf in a side lane and look for misrotations or people going to match the Olaf and try and catch them out on the way and force an objective on that side of the map. I think it's going to be a really execution heavy team comp from Andromeda, but I think it also does really well into what Albert's Inferno are trying to do. On the other hand, Albert's Inferno is very comfortable on all their champions. You have Syndra for Omar, you have Albert's Skarner, you have Fishy's Lilia, you have Teddy's Zeri. All these champions are champions that the team is very comfortable on. And I don't really know how often Jeremy plays Nami. We can see that here. He's played it 6 times this season with really good KDAs, so he seems to be, oh, these are champions to watch. But either way, Jeremy plays a lot of Nami, so I'm pretty excited to see how he does on that. Do we have past performances? Here we go. So Teddy kind of carrying the the Zeri win rate. It's a little bit over 50%. Omar undefeated on his Syndra. Sarvis has not won on his TF. A lot of these KDAs are looking pretty even as we are about to move into game, finally. All right. I suppose it's also probably time to pause my music. Nah, I'm gonna keep the music going. It's good. It's fun. skin rating. Arnia is the only one without a skin on his champion, so a little disappointed we couldn't get the 10 skin game. In terms of runes, I don't see anything particularly special here. Everybody's running pretty standard runes, pretty standard summoner spells. Olaf running Ghost TP, you can't see that under the Dancing Rat. But we're finally in game. Let's see if I can. Alrighty. Oh my gosh, I did do that. Alright, sweet. How do I not show time controls? There we go. Alright, all is well.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
So we're gonna see pretty standard stuff from both sides. Just deciding to 5-point as I need to shrink my minimap down to, I think it's 35 is the magic number. Nope. 30 is. Okay. Whatever. 31 is okay. All right. Sweet. So we're gonna get into game. Both teams playing this level 1 pretty conservatively. We're gonna see a 5-point come out from both teams. I would be honestly a little bit shocked if Andromeda's bot lane didn't decide to go for a bush cheese. I think it would be really beneficial for them, especially with the Braum Ashe level 1. You have really good power to try and go for an aggressive play. As we do see, Sam is walking up for it, but Coffee is not having it. I'm just gonna walk the lane the normal way. As we see both junglers playing towards the bot side of the map. I think this makes sense. Neither of these, so you only really have good gank setup on the jungle on the side of Albert's Inferno. And I don't think the Lilia is going to be doing enough damage early game to really pressure killing the Olaf. And on the side of Andromeda, it's going to be really hard to kill that Olaf level 3. It's going to be really hard to kill that Lilia level 3 because you have no CC, no realistic CC. So it makes sense that both junglers are playing towards the bot side. You want to be alleviating, as well as the fact that you want to be alleviating pressure if you're Albert's Inferno on your bot lane, and you want to be playing aggressively in the early game if you are Andromeda. As we do see the bot lane of Albert's Inferno getting early push, I wouldn't expect this in this lane, but we didn't really get to see what's going on there, so maybe something crazy happened, as Arnia is taking a lot of damage. Fishy has been trading really well onto him. In this Lilia Olaf lane, which I think is probably pretty expected, but at the same time, Olaf is meant to be, as far as I know, he's meant to be a pretty lane dominant pick. So that's pretty interesting to see there. As Sam misses the Q onto Teddy, but still able to trade out really well. Coffee using the abuse of that. As Arnia gets really low, but so is Fishy. Arnia managed to get first blood, burns the ghost just to make sure, but that's gonna be first blood going over to Arnia on the side of Andromeda. Omar gets a pretty good trade onto Sarveris here, able to land the stun, proc the electrocute, and land all of his entire combo. Sarveris trading back out with a red card. Not going to do quite the same amount of damage, but good stuff coming out from the top side of Andromeda, from Arnia, as well as mid lane and bot lane from both teams. It's been pretty back and forth so far, at least in the early lane. As we see the Skarner and as we see a lot of people running towards the bot side. We see Sarveris coming, we see Bean coming, and we see Albert all kind of coalescing around the spotlight. Everything ends up getting spotted out, and the whole situation diffuses. Like I said at the beginning, during draft, as we do see, Fishy manages to run all the way towards mid. Tries to land a bowling ball into Sarveris, but it's not going to connect. In the top lane, Arnie is going to try and shove that in. He's going to be able to crash that under tower and try and intercept Fishy on the way. Not going to quite be able to make it as Teddy goes in here over the wall in the coffee. He's blocked out by the Braum, and he's going to get stunned up. Uses the cleanse and then gets exhausted. Really well played, saving the exhaust by Sam, but Teddy's going to be able to just flash out as they might continue to look to chase here. Omar getting another trade in the mid lane as Fishy is taking a lot of damage. This Olaf has a ruby crystal and a long sword, so he's going to be pretty tanky and do a decent amount of damage as Teddy lands a really big W onto Coffee there. Keep in mind that the only summoner that Albert's Inferno's bot lane has here is the flash on the Nami, but Coffee still has both his summoner spells, so not really going to be able to get a kill on the side of Albert's Inferno despite landing that great W. We do see Albert on the top side looking for something maybe here in the top lane, but not going to be able to find it as Albert Inferno spot lane is not quite able to back. They really have to shove out this wave, and so Andromeda able to leverage the tempo advantage to get a back off. I suspect that that's just going to be matched in a second by Teddy and Jeremy. But we do see a pretty sizable CS lead down there. 49 to 31 CS in the bot lane. This is not the way that you would expect this lane to go in the early game. Sam manages to cancel the back from Albert Inferno's bot lane, so might be able to recoup some of the CS deficit. As instead of that, they're going to use the tempo to start up this Drake. I don't know what Spectator is doing, but they're going to start up this Drake. Cerberus is coming down to support it. As we see Albert kind of sniffing it out, but not gonna be able to do anything. Arnie trades really aggressively onto Fishy. Obviously, Arnie would rather save his ult for when Fishy uses his, so that he's not going to be able to get slept. As in response, Albert's Inferno is just going to attempt to take this Grubs on first spawn. Skarner, I imagine, isn't doing it very quickly, but Omar is able to run up and help him out there. But Cerberus does have level 6, so if they decide to ult, they're going to spot it. However, we do see a play coming in on the top side. Arnie pops the ulti. He's not going to be able to be CC immune for much longer. As we see, really good drive-in by Albert. They're going to try and give this kill over to Omar, but Arnie almost gets a return kill there because Fishy walks in to try and finish him off. But and so Albert is forced to take that kill. No harm, no foul. That does mean that Albert Inferno gives up the grub take, but they get a kill on the Olaf, and that's really going to help out the top lane situation a little bit. We do see now that, as we see some action in the bot lane, Sam's not going to land the Q, Teddy's just going to be able to E over the wall and get out. We see Andromeda was able to get Scuttle for the Grubs take, as we see Albert trying to make some play in the mid lane happen. Cerberus is able to dodge out the drive, and we see a good counter gank, really good stun by Omar though, kind of canceling out the counter gank there. Omar's going to keep trying to look for something here, is able to land some damage onto Cerberus as Beam gets out of range. Now Albert's taking a little bit of damage, and in the top lane we also see some fighting. As the bot lane of Andromeda's here, we see the Ashar into the Nocturne R, but Albert lands a really good ult to drag the Nocturne under tower range, as Sam is now tanking tower. He's taking so much damage from that. Albert's not quite going to be able to pick up the Braum, but that's going to be feat of warfare going over to Andromeda. I think they're probably a little too low to take Grubs here, but that was a very back and forth team fight, really well played by both teams, but Andromeda's able to come out on top there going 3-for-1. And Cerberus is starting to build up a lead here. He is even in CS into Omar, but he does have 2 kills under his belt. As Arnie is just going to run down this Lilia. Yeah, this is how this lane is expected to go. But giving Arnie a counter pick. We haven't seen him on the Olaf yet, but he seems to be pretty comfortable on it. He's able to grab 2 solo kills onto Lilia already. As Teddy goes in here, presses the R, he knows that Coffee doesn't have his ult. He's going to try and use the Nami move speed to catch up, and oh my gosh, Coffee presses his barrier. Braum comes in to save the day, and they're going to be able to turn that and kill Teddy. Well timed by Sam to come in. Maybe Teddy overextending a little bit, trying to get that kill, not knowing that Coffee has the barrier up. So getting a kill onto the Ashe is worth about 20 CS, I believe. As Fishy manages to catch Arnia without his ult, he might be able to get a solo kill here, as he's just going to keep running, lands the Q. Arnia gets a shield from his W. Fishy tries to dive. He gets turned by Arnia and is killed. Two failed dives back to back by the side of Albert's Inferno is not what you want to see going on. As Sarver walking really aggressively, dealing so much damage. He has the double buffs, able to just abuse his auto attacks, get a lot of red buff procs, and deal so much damage. Teddy again playing really aggressively here, isn't quite able to land the W, but is doing so much damage with the Nami Eon. As Andromeda is going to use the fact that they see the support bot lane. Sam has roamed towards the Grubs to help take that, and they're just going to take the Grubs here. That's going to be the second objective going down to Andromeda. The gold lead, 10 minutes in, Andromeda already has a 2,500 gold lead. In part due to kills, in part due to that CS lead top lane, but somewhat offset by the CS lead that Albert's Inferno has in the bot lane. I think if you're Andromeda, you're really not trying to stall this game out. You have a Zeri, a Lilia, and a Syndra on the side of Albert's Inferno. You're gonna have to try and grow this lead really quickly and turn this into a game win. And you have so many tools to do that. You have the pick potential from the Ashe, the TF, the Nocturne, all trying to allow you to, get picks, get objectives. As we do see a gank coming in from Albert's Inferno in mid lane. Not gonna quite do anything, as Teddy is on point with these Ws today. Able to land a lot of these on the Coffee and chunk him pretty low. We do see Bean in the bot side. He's not spotted out by any wards from Albert's Inferno until now, but it might be too late, as Teddy's able to cleanse and jump over the wall. But Sarvis is also here. Teddy's able to flash out, but Jeremy might not be able to say the same. As Sam is taking so much damage, he's going to die to the tower. Teddy's going to keep going. He's going to get stunned up by the gold card. I don't think he's going to be able to keep chasing for very long, but that's a 1-for-0. That was so well played by the bot lane of Albert's Inferno, able to turn that 4v2 into a kill on their side. As Fishy is getting run down by Arnia again. Albert's Inferno finally has some tempo on the map. They're going to try and start up this Drake. They know that Coffee has backed and is now in base. It can only really be Sam and Bean on them, and they're just going to take it. Andromeda's going to drop a ward, see that they're there, and not really try and contest. It does look like they're going to try and take the fight here. Teddy and Albert are able to jump out, but unfortunately for Omar, he does not have any dashes, and he's just going to get stunned up and killed in the pit. But that does delay the feats for Andromeda. So if you're Albert's Inferno, you really don't want to give up that objective. Well, it's only 1-1 at this point, because not all the grubs were taken. We see that Andromeda has 2 grubs, Albert's Inferno has 1. So 1-1 on objective feats right now. So if you're Albert's Inferno, I think that's going to be the way you try to get back into the game. Feats I don't think are crazy important, but it does feel good to have the fancy boots. As the game has slowed down a bit, both junglers have a lot of camps to clear. Sam looking for something aggressive here, might just try and zone Albert's Inferno's bot lane off of the wave. As we see Bean trying to look for something in the top side, running around. Maybe he's just going to take Scuttle, but Fishy is about 3/4 health. I don't know if there's a play up there. But Sarver is able to shove in the wave and follow the jungler. there is still something to do here. They both have such long-range ultimates, the Twisted Fate and the Nocturne, that you really have to be careful. If you don't see both of them on the map for even a couple seconds, they can be anywhere. Grubs have spawned, and Fishy just took a recall, so he's going to be forced to TP back. Albert is also maybe looking to back. No, he cancels it. So Andromeda is already on this Grubs. As we see a fight start to break out, the Nocturne ult is going to be burned by Bean, and so it's going to be really hard for Albert's Inferno to run in here. I think if you're Albert, you're just going to try and steal this last one away. Bean used the smite. The Ash Arrow is going to land onto Omar as Bean is dropped really low. You still have the smite on the side of Albert, so you might be able to get the last grub here, but he's going to go down to the Olaf, not able to be CC'd. And as Fishy flashes over the wall, still gets hit by the gold card and is going to drop down, but pretty even overall. But Cerberus is going to be able to finish up that last grub and confirm the second objective take for Andromeda. On the other side of the map, ADC support's still just duking it out. CS lead is continuing to grow for Teddy in the bot lane. He is now 40 CS up on Zeri, so he's going to be very scary on late game. As we see, he's able to just run in, trade aggressively, as long as he doesn't get hit by the Braum Q. There's not much that Andromeda's bot lane can do. As Cerberus gets the first turret mid, and that's going to be Feats going over to the side of Andromeda. Omar landing a full combo, not quite a full combo, but landing the QEW onto Cerberus. Not doing as much damage as you'd like to see. Cerberus is 5-0 on this Twisted Fate. Feels like that lead kind of came out of nowhere, but I mean, that's what Cerberus is good at doing. He's very good at playing with the team, getting himself ahead with good heads-up plays and taking the right fights. As he's gonna Cerberus DP mid, grab that wave. As Bean again trying to look for something in the bot lane here. I don't know if he really sees an angle. Albert's Inferno has some decent wards, but how much that'll help against a Nocturne, who knows. So he's gonna drop a control ward, gets spotted out. The Scar's Bloom hit by Teddy is not going to spot out the Nocturne still, so Albert's Inferno still does not know that he's in the bot lane, in the bot side of the map. We see the Nocturne ult come out here, but not going to quite have enough vision to jump in quite yet. He does manage to get the ult onto Jeremy, but they're going to be able to successfully get out, as Albert is now here to try and make something happen. We do see Arne TPing into the bot lane. Fishy did not R, so he's going to get here safe and sound. Fishy does not have TP, so he's not going to be able to match. Albert's Inferno might just want to give this one up. It's a guaranteed 4v5, but and you can look to pressure top. As it looks like Albert's Inferno might be trying to do something, maybe use their bird to try and steal it, but no, it's going to be secured by Bean. Well smited. Lilia is not the fastest tower taker, so I'd be surprised if she's able to get it here. But we'll see, as Andromeda doesn't have too much time to get up there. They do still have the Twisted Fate R. He's going to use it, run to the top lane, and defend that tower. Really good usage of the TP advantage you have there by Andromeda. You're able to TP down, force a Drake, and then use the global Twisted Fate ult to go back top and protect your tower. we see that Andromeda is gonna try and play towards this Herald. I don't know if Albert's Inferno is in a position to contest, especially now that they've swapped their bot. Especially now that Andromeda has swapped their bot lane mid. Albert's Inferno does know they're gonna force a 4v4 here. Teddy matching Cerberus in the bot lane, as Teddy's also gonna start moving up now. I don't know if he's gonna make it in time, but we'll see. This might turn into a 5v4 in favor of Albert's Inferno. As Bean is forced to flash out there, he still has the Blatstone to try and get in if he wants to steal it, but it's a very risky play. Albert's Inferno just able to apply the pressure. They know that Andromeda knows that Teddy's coming, and they also have a pretty unfortunate positional disadvantage there, being forced to walk into the pit into a big AoE team comp. As Nocturne and Twisted Fatals are going to be burned here on the side of Andromeda. Cerberus coming in with a red card, not quite what he wanted, but the Ash Arrow is going to land onto Albert. Teddy dives really deep, able to use the cleanse to not get punished there. As Albert's going to keep going in, he still has the ultimate available to him if he decides to use it. As Arnia is going to run to the backline. Fishy lands a 3-man sweep onto the backline of Andromeda, and he's going to be able to pick up the Twisted Fate. Albert is still somehow alive here. Arnie might sniff him out. He is able to sniff him out, as Albert plays that really, really well, able to use the drive-by able to use the drive. I'm just going to keep calling it the drive or the bus to stun up Arnie and then try and hit the blast cone. Arnie's going to be able to pick him up there, but it was a good attempt by Albert. As Albert's Inferno able to pick up the Cerberus there, but getting a big shutdown onto Teddy's is very nice. They're probably Albert's Inferno is very happy about that, as the gold lead that was 4K a minute ago is now down to just 3. So very nice play by Albert's Inferno, able to get 1 kill back. The shutdown is probably worth 3 kills, I would estimate. Let's see. Yeah, 3 kills worth of gold. So all in all, gold-wise, that's a positive trade for Albert's Inferno, especially onto the Zeri, which is exactly who we want to see it on. Alright, Arnia's going to be able to drop this tower top. Fishy, we got sent bot lane to match the Twisted Fate. And Fishy does take a lot of damage to him. That was a really unfortunate trade for him, as both bot lanes are going to start ARAMing now. Drake is the next objective up. It's going to be up in... How do I turn objective timers on? Objective timer. There we go. The next Drake is going to be up in 10 seconds. So that's going to be the next objective that's on the docket. Andromeda really wants to get themselves a soul point to be able to force those fights later, and Albert's Inferno wants to prevent that from happening. As Albert's going to face check into Cerberus, he lands a gold card, and not much comes of it. Fishy trying to land a bowling ball onto Cerberus, maybe try and get a pick there, but it's not going to happen, as this is looking to be a 5v5 in the Drake pit. Andromeda is going to be the ones who get first move onto Drake, but unfortunately they don't have as much vision of Albert's Inferno as they would like. Teddy's pushing out the mid lane, as Andromeda is just going to start the Baron. The Drake. This is looking to be a pretty front-to-back fight, as Nocturne ult is going to come down onto from Bean. Teddy's going to get stunned up by the Ashar into everything. He's taking so much damage. He's able to do so much AoE on the backside. Fishy's also putting in a lot of work. He's able to take down Cerberus, as Albert's Inferno is going to keep diving deeper. Arnie is doing so much damage, able to not get... He's completely CC immune, as he's also going to grab the Drake. That's so unfortunate for Albert's Inferno. You do not... That is not what you want to see. As Omar, almost able to get the kill onto Arnie, just a tiny bit short on the damage. But that looks so good for Andromeda, then so good for Albert's Inferno, and then so good for Andromeda. These fights are starting to be back and forth. We can see that even though Albert's Inferno is down in gold, the scaling comp The Zeri is putting out so much damage. The Lilia is putting out so much damage. That AoE damage is going to be really hard to deal with if you're Andromeda the later you go into the game. But that being said, you do now have 3 Drakes on the side of Andromeda, so you're allowed now to take flips. Otacon is spawned topside, so you might even be able to take both objectives, trade Baron and Otacon for Drake, because Albert's Inferno is really has to take that. They're not going to wait that long though, as we do see Albert's Inferno trying to get vision, setting up for the Otacon take. This one is an Otacon. I don't know how to tell which one it is. It's one of them. It'll do something. You'll find out when we'll find out together. Albert's Inferno now able to take the Scuttle Crab, gain the positional advantage here. We do see Cerberus split pushing in the bot lane. He's going to try and shove that wave out. He does have both his ult and TP, so he can TP without anybody knowing, and then ult into the top lane wherever he decides is necessary. As Omar also has TP of his own, he's going to go down and try and match that. Albert's Inferno able to get positional advantage, but not quite able to clear out all the vision. They don't have any sweepers up. In fact, they only have 1 sweeper on the team. Omar is taking a pretty good trade into Cerberus here in the bot lane, but I mean, Cerberus just does so much damage to that tower, and he has so much MR, and he's able to trade it all back with 1 Q. This man does so much damage, does not take much damage at all. It's very hard to deal with him in a side lane. But that being said, he isn't able to TP in Omar's face because Omar can very easily stun him up and cancel that ability, cancel that summoner spell. Andromeda has started to try and reclaim control of this Otacon pit. As Sam runs out of wards, he's going to try and back to go for more, but he's going to be stopped by the threat of Albert walking up there. Everyone just trying to get their advantage onto that Otacon and the Baron area. 2 really important objectives over there. We do see a reset coming out for Andromeda slightly later than the reset that Albert's Inferno took. We're going to see also a slightly misaligned reset. It seems like Albert Inferno is not going to try and continue the pressure on top side. Neither is Andromeda, really. Both teams are kind of trying to, I guess, set up a demilitarized zone and not send anybody up there. They spent so much time up there that things have respawned in the bot lane for the taking. Drake is up in a minute. You might start looking at that. You might want to start looking at that for both teams. Forcing that trade for Andromeda is really good, but if you're Albert's Inferno, if you don't know where Andromeda is, you kind of just have to guess and pray that you pick the right one. If you don't want to be giving that Drake up, but if Andromeda's on the Baron, you don't want to be giving that up either. So it's a hard decision to make. I think you want to just, if you're Albert's Inferno, you might just want to take the gamble and fight Andromeda where they are. Albert clearing out some wards as Cerberus pokes him out a little bit, make sure they know he's in the area. He is a very big threat on the side of Andromeda. Very scary champion right now. 6-2 on the Twisted Fate with 250 CS. On the other side of the map, though, you do have Teddy. Two kills on the Zeri, so not quite as kill heavy. But we do see a team fight starting to break out. We see TP coming out from Arnie into the bush. As we also see the Twisted Fate ult. Zeri's gonna ult as well. Nami's almost getting caught out here, but Bean's getting hit by the bubble. Teddy's cleansing something, as he's just going to keep cutting out into the backline. He's doing so much damage there in the backline. We see Arnie is trying to get to him, but he's not quite able to do it. Teddy might just clear this entire team. He's able to E4, land the W as he's going to keep pressing forward, gets the Ashe as well. Sarvis is super, super low. Very, very well played team fight. That has to go to Teddy. He played that extraordinarily well, picking up 3 kills for himself, kiting out very, very, very nicely. Sarvis is going to, assuming people are still on him, he's going to TP into the base. Thank you, Mason. This is Ruinous Otacon. I don't even know what that one does. It does something. I think Ruinous is the one that gives empowered buffs, like extra stats from other things and the bajillion plants. I think Voracious is the one that gives you the resurrection, but I'm not sure. See, Mason. I knew it, Mason. I said it before you typed that in chat, so I'm smart, but thank you for the confirmation. I appreciate it. Yeah, and then the Voracious one, again, is the GA plus extra gold on kill. See, this is why we need junglers in the chat. I appreciate you, Mason. You are heard and you are appreciated. Again, both teams, now that the Drake is no longer on the table, both teams trying to set up for Otacon here. Also, Mason, don't you have a game in 5 minutes? Get off the stream. Eden, I don't know if I can play copyrighted music. This is the Riot Games Sessions Diana mix, which is very explicitly not copyrighted and allowed to be played on streams. So that's why I decided to play it. But I don't think I'm allowed to play copyrighted music. I assume it'll either get muted or demonetized or in some capacity for the VOD. Yeah, Mason, we're just on the same page today. I'm already playing all the sessions music. The Talia one, all right. Diana's always been my go-to, but I'll play the Talia one next for the next game. And if there's a game 3, I'll play the Vi one. We can get all around. All right. Again, both teams have been I completely lost my train of thought there. Both teams running back down towards the bot side. Sarvis no longer has TP, but importantly, Omar does. So that gives a TP advantage. If you're playing on the complete opposite side of the map, PF can't quite TP that far. I'm pretty sure even at level 16, he's going to have to run up probably halfway to the river to make it to the Baron Pit. So having the instantaneous TP is going to be really valuable for Andromeda. I mean, for Albert's Inferno. He is just able to kill that tower, though. That's really unfortunate. Oh my goodness, Teddy now has a QSS and cleanse, so it's going to be so hard to CC him. As a Twisted Fate's just going to press R there. Is that your trigger if you're Albert's Inferno to just try and force the Baron right now? Potentially. They're fighting over Raptors. Both teams, I think, trying to make their way up towards that side of the map. We see Albert's Inferno slowly but surely making their way up. Teddy's going to shove out that mid lane as Albert is going to run down. He is spotted on a ward. I think he's clearing it. Yep. There it is. So, Andromeda has control of the top side, but they're going to give it up in a second just to back for items or more wards. We see Arnie able to finish the Spirit Visage. That's a really big pickup for him. And some control wards. As I think, I'm not really sure what the plan is here for the teams. We do see Drake coming up in a minute, so that might be on the docket again for both teams. But both teams a little scared to pull the trigger on making a topside play. Makes sense. I mean, if you're Albert's Inferno, you do know that you're still behind, and that you need to be very particular and careful with how you take fights. You don't want to be caught, and especially if Teddy gets caught out, I think you just insta-lose the team fight. But Andromeda knows that they also need to be picky with the fights, as one might be starting here. We see Sarver sending a gold card onto Albert, as we do see the Nami are going in. Teddy presses R. He's going to get CC'd up by the Nocturne. He's just going to go down, and this is looking like a pretty clean team fight for Andromeda, as that is a 4-for-0. Albert's Inferno, Teddy dies, gets collapsed on by the Nocturne, TF, and the Olaf. They'll just get taken down really quickly. That's what I was saying about having to be careful with what team fights you take. Teddy dies, you just lose the team fight. Unfortunately, that's the reality of it. Sarver's taking down these towers so fast. Being an AP auto attack based champion makes you take towers insanely fast. Plus, he is already level 18. He is a level up on his mid lane opponent. He's five levels up on the Nami, which doesn't really mean much. And then Andromeda has enough time in the death timers to take Drake and turn to the Otacon. With Soul, with 4 Drakes, that's going to be so many bonus stats for them, plus all the flowers. Very, very good for them. You really like to see that if you're Andromeda. This might be the buff that allows you to just force fights infinitely and just win them. Albert's Inferno finally has a little bit of respite. Able to walk into the Baron Pit with all 5 of them. They're just going to start it up. They take the ward. This is going down really, really quickly. I don't know if Bean's going to have time to think or make it. Ashe is not anywhere in the fight, as we do see the Nocturne ult coming out. TF ult is going to go in. Nocturne dives onto the Zeri, but it isn't going to be able to pick her up. This is really important. We do see the Brahmar landing onto the Zeri, and Olaf is going to keep running her down. He's able to almost pick her up. He's going to be able to get the kill as he continues to run it down. Bean's going to fall down as well. Olaf is still CC immune, but the Lilia is still around. Ashe is going to be able to slow her up, though, as a really good ult by Albert. Going to be able to CC the Ashe and the Braum. As Lilia continues to go in, he flashes onto the Ashe, as Albert again landing a really good stun there onto the Ashe, and Liz is going to be able to continue running down here. Olaf doesn't really stand a chance here. It's really well done by Fishy and Albert there, tagging up and really able to pick that fight apart towards the end, landing all the CC on the people they needed. Not able, as Albert's Inferno is not really able to kill Lilia. Well done there. And they're just going to take this Baron. Lilia does enough damage over time. Albert's going to have the smite to confirm it. I don't know if they do it very fast. Bean's going to be up in 5 seconds. He might be able to run over an ult. They do have vision of Albert's Inferno doing this. If he's able to dive in and kill Lilia, he might be able to win the smite fight. As we do also see a TP coming in from Sarvis. This is going to be... He is going to... Oh, and Jeremy misses the bubble onto Sarvis. Mistimes it by a little bit. Fishy's just going to get gold carded, but another really good stun by Albert. We're going to be able to force the Zanyas out of Sarvis, as the rest of the team is able to collapse here and be able to get Sarvis. Ashe Arrow lands, but not going to do much. Very well done. These fights are starting to turn consistently in the favor of Albert's Inferno. They're able to pick up that dragon and almost even up the game. 2,000 gold lead at this point in the game isn't really a very large amount. And wow, yeah. If you're the Lilia, and the Lilia is also starting to be a problem. Let's see if I can get a stat check. If I can get a stacks check on the Syndra. How many? I can't see. How do I see how many stacks the Syndra has? I don't know. Somebody in the chat probably sees how many stacks the Syndra has and can tell me how much, how many there are and what that means. Because I don't know. But again, this is what I was saying in the early game. If you're Andromeda, you want to end that game sooner rather than later, because eventually Albert's Inferno is going to outscale you. And it seems like that point may have been reached. Next objective that's going to be up is the Elder Drake. That is, I think, the game-winning fight. Whoever ends up winning that team fight will probably just immediately end the game. Sarvis is so tanky. He has like 3100 HP plus the shield, plus 200 armor almost. That those 3 mountain drakes plus the Otacon buff really allowing Andromeda to be tankier than they have any right to be. Sarvis does have the Zhonya's back up. Teddy has Cleanse and QSS up. Oh, he sold the QSS. He instead bought a GA. So Teddy is full build. He has a GA instead of the QSS, but he does have the Cleanse. As Coffee is going to try and catch out Albert here, but he is so tanky. Coffee is not doing nearly enough damage to bother him. As Drake's going to be up in a minute. Albert's Inferno has really good vision control right now, able to shove out that mid wave and the bot wave. They're going to take a quick reset and come in with all the items they need to try and win this fight. Scuttle's going to spawn, so Andromeda's going to be able to get some unremovable vision, and they're going to see every single ward in the area. You love to see that if you're Andromeda. However, really gets stunned by Omar, is able to stun up the Braum. Albert's Inferno isn't quite going to be able to capitalize on that, but does mean they're able to push forward, get the ever important positional advantage here. Going to be able to get first move onto the Elder Drake. Critically though, they haven't been able to clear out much vision. Again, they don't have any sweepers except for Jeremy. So Albert's Inferno just going to start trying to force this. I think this is good. If you try and force this, you can force Andromeda to fight into you. As Teddy is going to be stunned up, he's going to be run down by the Olaf. He's going to get resurrected though with his GA, and in the meantime, Omar and Fishy are doing so much damage. Teddy does so much damage, just bursts down whoever that was instantly. As the Olaf's going to fall as well. Sarvis is the last one left alive. He's almost going to get bubbled. Good flash by him to dodge it out. And he's going to press R. He's going to try and go in on the Nami. Nami's able to land a bubble, and Teddy barely lives there. He's able to pick up the Twisted Fate there. Teddy doesn't have any lifesteal, so he's going to have to be very careful not to get hit by any Drake attacks here. But that should be able to be Elder Drake confirmed and secured by Albert's Inferno. Maybe it's not the game-winning teamfight I thought it would be, because it was so bloody on both sides, but Albert's Inferno again coming out on top. They're able to win so many of these late-game teamfights on the back of the Zeri at first, in that first fight, and then the Lilia and the Syndra starting to scale up, as they're going to wait a little bit for Fishy to come back to life before finishing it off. And yeah, I mean, this game is dead even. Literally a dead even game in gold. As we are going to get a pause. Bathroom break. I'm going to also take a little break in that case. I will be right back. Wait, actually, hold up. For the first time in my life... Wait. You've never seen this on Scrim Zone before. Boom. Game pause. Game pause. The game is... Oh, never mind. Not game pause anymore. Alright, as we get back into the game. Oh no. Don't tell me. Don't tell me. I'm gonna let this sit for a little bit. I really hope that that the game didn't just break. That we do get to see the end of this. Okay, thank God. We do get to see the end of this game. This is an absolute roller coaster of a game. Like I said, literally dead even in gold until a second ago. But Omar building towards that Void Staff. He has broken his stopwatch, so I mean his Seeker's Arm Guard. So we might see that get built into a Zanya so that he gets repeatability on that. But I mean, all three of the carries on the side of Albert's Inferno have some sort of safety. You have the Zanyas on the Lilia, you have the Zanyas pretty soon, hopefully, on the Syndra, and you have the Guardian Angel on the Zeri. So it's going to be really hard to get picks here. Even with the Braum and the Twisted Fate and the Ashe, it's really difficult. As Bean might get caught out here, he gets driven into by Albert, but nothing's going to really come of it. They are so... It's so hard to kill Andromeda without a big team fight because they're so tanky right now. As Albert's Inferno starts to set up for this Baron, the Elder Drake buff is still up and running for them, and as such, Andromeda's not even going to try and contest. They know that if they take a bad fight here, they lose the fight due to Elder and just immediately lose the game, so they're not going to try and flip it here. Arne does spot these guys out on a ward and try, and they're going to try and drop this top lane tower as Sarverus is in the bot lane trying to split push, but I don't know how much that really means right now, because you are dropping those towers down so fast if you're Albert's Inferno. You have 2 AP carries and a Zeri who just kill towers so fast. Omar is going to cave to the pressure a little bit back to deal with Sarverus before he's able to take the inhib. Maybe he will be able to take the inhib. Who knows? He does manage to get the inhib before Omar can stop him. As the Ashar misses onto Teddy, Teddy's just going to be able to E over this wall. There we go. We see it. Bean fails the flash and Slams fails the flash. That's so unfortunate. Sarverus is walking up with a gold card to try and do something here, but Teddy might be able to get the... Oh! Teddy gets the E back up, tries to E over the wall, but gets caught by the gold card on the way. Good pick from the side of Andromeda. That's really how you want to be trying to play this game. Able to get a pick onto the main carry of Albert's Inferno. He's not going to be up for another 45 seconds. You can maybe try and barrel down mid here. As Albert's Inferno tries to contest this blue buff, Sarverus is going to get bubbled. He's going to press Zanyas and get out. Albert is also almost going to get caught. Gets drives over the wall. Unstoppable during that period of time. As Andromeda may have committed too hard into this jungle. They've wasted 20 seconds before they're able to push and aren't going to be able to end the game off this, even though Teddy is dead. Not that I thought they could end the game with it, but you can at least try and get into him mid. But well played by Albert's Inferno to get out scot-free there. Even almost getting a pick onto Sarverus if he didn't Zanya's. I'm gonna try and resize this rat to be a slightly more appropriate size. There we go. That's exactly the size we need of the rat. Fishy might be able to catch out Sarverus here, as the Ash Arrow actually lands onto Fishy, and the Nocturnal's going to come immediately after. He's stunned for so long, and it's going to get caught out. 68-second death timers, as we do see Omar in the bot lane, but he's going to be forced to back before he's able to get this turret potentially, as Andromeda's looking, staring down the throat of Albert's Inferno here. But he is able to clear the wave as Andromeda transitions to the mid lane. They don't quite have a wave. Omar's going to keep looking bot. He might be able to get the in here if Albert's Inferno is able to continue to clear these waves. The only champion they have who really clears waves effectively here is Zeri, and she only can because of her Zanyas. Teddy is going to press R. He's presses the cleanse button as Olaf is trying to dive him on the backside. He's doing so much damage to the Olaf though, but the Sterak's Gauge is going to proc. And Teddy's gonna dive forward aggressively onto Cerberus. The Ash Arrow isn't gonna land. Nocturnaut comes out. Teddy is stunned up in the backline, but it doesn't matter because Coffee is gonna potentially die down. As Teddy continues to go, Omar's still in the base, trying to stop the, trying to end the game. Cerberus is gonna try and TP out and TP back to the bases. Wow. Really well played by Albert's Inferno, able to continue Omar in the side lane. He's able to get both Nexus towers, and they're able to win the team fight. That's going to translate into an Elder Drake as well, the second Elder Drake of the game for Albert's Inferno. I thought the last one was going to be the end of the game, but this one surely is going to end the game, especially because every single member of Albert's Inferno is alive. They're all going to get it. Wow. This music is not very befitting of this game. This is an absolute banger. 50 minutes in, Albert's Inferno finally with their first gold lead of the game. I don't know how long it's been. First time I've seen them have a gold lead. Oh. Fishy trying to get a pick here onto Beam, but I don't know if he's gonna be able to get it. He's forced to flash out, has a stack of Brahms passive on him. He's gonna get hit by the Ash Arrow. Doesn't really matter though, because Albert's here to bail him out. Nice try by Fishy to try and get a pick onto the Nocturne. He's forced to go back to base, and Albert's Inferno is able to knock on the door of Andromeda's base. Again, Cerberus sitting in the side lane. He's gonna try and base race this here. As a team fight breaks out here, we see Beam get picked up by the Lilia. Coffee is going to go down next, but TF is down to the Nexus. He's going to be able to finish it off, and Albert's Inferno wins the team fight, but the base race is going to go onto the side of Andromeda. Such a close game, and what an ending. My goodness. Wow, 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 wow. What a game. Whew. All right, and with that, I don't really know what either team adjusts for next game. Frankly, I think both teams played to their strengths well. Andromeda managed to get what seemed like an insurmountable lead early game. Then Albert's Inferno able to weather the storm, start winning team fight after team fight after team fight, and it ended with like 3 backdoors in a row into a base race. I think that was a phenomenally close game. If Andromeda is able to force their lead a little bit harder and win the mid game, I think that game may have gone a little bit easier. But in terms of actual champ select, I don't know what either team adjusts. I mean, you took away so many of Teddy's champions, and he's still able to do 60k damage. So, yeah, I'm gonna take a little break here, and we're gonna come back once draft starts for the next game. All right, draft should be starting any minute now, and I could not be more excited. That first game was absolutely insane, and I'm really excited to see what kind of adaptations we see from both teams. Like I said earlier, I'm really not sure what I would want to do here, regardless of what team I am. Wait, hold on, I gotta add some. I gotta add some music here. As we see the draft is gonna start again, we see the respect band of the Singed and the Vayne coming out from both teams. As so far, draft is looking to be mostly the same. Not very surprised. We see all the same bands from Albert's Inferno, and so far all the same bands from Andromeda. I wouldn't be surprised to see a Syndra first pick again. I don't think Andromeda had too many issues with it in the early game. Sarver seemed pretty comfortable playing into it, but did cause them some problems in the late game once Inferno was able to scale up. As Fishy. Oh, whoops. There we go. As Fishy locks in the Syndra for Omar. Are we going to see the same picks here? We do see the Ashe come out again. First pick Ashe for Captain Coffee. He's very comfortable on it. He got some pretty good arrows, especially towards the end of the game there. Able to catch out Teddy, almost catch out Fishy on his Lilia at the end of the game. So not surprised to see it again. What I would like to see from Coffee and Sam though is to play a little bit more aggressive in the early. They gave so much space to the Zeri early on. Especially with that aggressive lane. As we see Beans Nefiri come out. You don't see that very often. Very excited to see how that goes. As Albert's Inferno might be taking a bit to think here. Do they just pick the Lilia again? It seemed to not do too well into the counter pick that Andromeda had prepared. As the Skarner, Omar did really well on it, but we're going to see the Ornn blind pick. Arnier is jumping in his seat right now. He's very excited to see this Ornn blind pick. He is the notorious Ornn blinder, as we all very well know. And let's see what Jeremy picks up for himself. It's going to be the Janna. He does play a lot of Janna. I think it works really well, especially into the type of team comp that Andromeda played last game. Having a Janna to stop the Olaf. Well, I guess you can't stop the Olaf, but to stop the Nocturne and the TF from bothering your Fed Zeri as much as you can is nice. And it's going to have a lot of value into the Nefiri this game. As we do see the Zeri get banned out by the side of Andromeda. They don't want to see Teddy on that champion again. He did so well on it. Twisted Fate can be banned out by Albert Inferno, and I guess this is where we start to see those adaptations from game one in the bans. Will Teddy get his 4 ADC bans? Will he get it? It's the... Oh, we do see a Skarner hover here. And that's going to be Skarner banned by Andromeda, as Cerberus gets his Yone taken away again. Especially with a Mordekaiser top, that AP threat. I'm going to let you pick that Yone with some more safety. What do we see picked out here? I wouldn't be surprised to see a support pick here. Just like last game, they're probably going to leave last pick for Cerberus. So I'm curious to see what Sam plays here. I don't know if Braum is the right pick. Thresh is certainly a very good champion, especially in the capable hands of Sam. He is, as we saw in the Champions to Watch, he's a very solid Thresh player. As Teddy's going to opt to pick the Sivir this game. I really like that pick, especially into Ashe and Thresh. You have really important like arrow and hook to land, and Teddy having a spell shield just completely negates their ability to CC him. So I really like the Sivir pick. And what kind of jungler are we going to see? Hovering the Lilia, I don't know if this is actually going to get picked, unless that ends up being an orange jungle. Who knows? Not me. I don't know, I just work here. As we do see the Lilia locked in. I don't know where that's going. I'm gonna be completely honest. Could be, I sincerely doubt it's orange jungle. Albert might play the Lilia, who knows, but it could also be that Albert has swapped to the top lane. And we'll see the Lilia jungle and the Ornn top lane played by Albert. So we will have to see. As Sarvis is going to pick his Echo, champion he's very well known for, but we don't get to see him play it all that often. I'm very excited. Two very interesting comps. I think that Albert's Inferno certainly has a lot more cohesion in their team comp. Again, you have a very pick-heavy comp coming out from Andromeda. You have the Echo trying to assassinate somebody, you have the Nefiri trying to assassinate somebody, you have Thresh trying to land a hook, and Ashe trying to land an arrow. So Andromeda sticking to their guns, picking a very heavy pick comp, but unfortunately I do think I like Albert Inferno's comp a little bit better here. You have the late game insurance of the Syndra and the Sivir, plus a Janna to prevent the enemy team from getting on her. I think Albert's Inferno, I think Andromeda's comp is probably less good at getting picks than last game, and they even last game struggled to get picks on the backline when it was most important. Jeremy and Albert did such a good job of peeling for the backline, and Teddy did such a fantastic job of kiting as well, that I think without all of that power, you might struggle to catch the Sivir. She does have less mobility than the Zeri does, but I think it's still going to be a little bit of a struggle to try and get her locked down, because if he takes Cleanse again, which he very well might, and if he takes with his spell shield, it's going to be pretty hard. He also doesn't quite have to dive as deep as the Zeri to get value, because he has his boomerang blade just bouncing all over the place, hitting everybody on the team regardless of who he himself hits. So we'll see how it goes. But once again, Inferno drafting around Teddy. Maybe not drafting around him, but I think picking enchanters and a scaling team, you're gonna be generating a lot of safety for your Syndra and your Sivir, and I think that's what they're gonna try and play around again this game. Albert's Inferno certainly has the advantage in the side lane, though. I don't know if there's going to be anybody who can match the Mordekaiser. But we saw last game, nobody could match... I said in the beginning of the game that nobody was going to be able to match the Olaf, and yet it ended up being Cerberus on the Twisted Fate in the side lane that was the more problematic player. Oh, I did not see that there's a substitution. Draco is actually playing top lane for Albert's Inferno this game, not Fishy, so I will have to regen assets really quickly. All right, let's take a look at path performance on these champions. We do see that Draco has been subbed in the top lane. They have played Ornn twice in the past, and they've done quite well on it. But you also see Arnier only played Mordekaiser once, but 7 KDA is quite scary. Omar again, same champion as last game. Albert, surprisingly, has played 2 games of Lilia. I didn't think he'd ever played it, but seems like he's pretty happy on it. Teddy played a little bit of Sivir in the past, done pretty well on it. Coffee again, very comfortable on the Ashe. As Sam, this was his champion to watch. He's on his Thresh. We'll see how he's able to do this game. I don't think they were able to apply the pressure in the bot lane that they wanted to last game, but with the Thresh, a more aggressive pick than the Braum, I think they're going to be able to do just that. Sarvas, like I said, known a little bit for his Echo. Doesn't seem to have the best history on it, but he is very good at that champion. Historical records on these champions. Echo is doing quite well for himself. I suspect that's because Brewer picks that every once in a while and pops the heck off. But Sivir, quite good historically. I've played it a little bit this season. The champion feels quite good in the current meta, and with Yuntal being as good as it is. Yeah, pretty average champions all around, to be honest. Mordekaiser not having the best run of things this season, but we'll see if Arnie is able to make it work for him. All right, we do have to wait out the spectator delay for about 2.5 more minutes as we can continue to look at these champ stats. The longer you look in history, the more even it gets. All these champions have very, very, very even win rates. Syndra is the highest win rate champion out of all these, with I think that's what, like a 85% win rate ish. No, not 85. It's like a 65% win rate ish. So that is quite a high win rate, but not absolutely insane when you have a pretty limited sample size. Mordekaiser though, with a suspiciously low average KDA, 1.75. I don't know why that is. That's a pretty interesting phenomenon. I wouldn't expect that. Ornn, very stable pick. Traditionally played as sort of a, I don't know what I want to play. Let's go Ornn. So exciting times in the League of Legends. I am very excited for this game. Last game was an absolute banger. One of the best games of Scrim Zone I've ever watched. I had the luck to cast it. Alright, as we finally get into game and we immediately get a pause. Very exciting times. Teddy potentially getting DoorDash diffed. Who knows? I think he uses Grubhub nowadays. Or Uber Eats. I don't know. He uses some delivery service, but might be getting DoorDash diffed here. Alright, the game finally gets unpaused. Seems like play will resume in 0 seconds. I assume it's the same random pause problem that we had last game, but decided to stop the game at a different point. Either way, I do suspect that we are going to see an invade coming out from the side of Andromeda. Looks like the champions in the base are positioned to 5 point, but I would be shocked to see them. I would be shocked if they actually did that. Yep, looks, who knows? Looks like they might just do a regular 5 point here. As Albert's Inferno definitely wanting to 5 point here. Make sure that they're not getting invaded on. But seems like that fear may have been unfulfilled. With the Thresh Ash. Once again, I think Andromeda has a really strong level 1 in lane. So I do want to see them press that advantage. Make sure that you can get prio in lane and not get that wave crashed under you like they did last game.
Minions have spawned.
Sivir doesn't really have good tools for CSing under tower. She has her Q and her W, which if you're really good can help you out, but a lot of times they can accidentally make it worse. I do like the they're not walking into the bush. Just like last game, I really wish that Andromeda's bot lane would play a little bit more aggressive in the level 1. You know, try and look to get prio before you even start the lane by sitting in a bush. Doesn't look like they're gonna opt to do that. As we see standard starts everywhere. However, it's getting a really good trade out level 1 onto Omar. Starts E, able to land the 3-hit passive. As Rico getting zoned off the wave a little bit by Arnie. This is to be expected in the early game. As an Ornn, you're kind of just looking to survive this lane for now, and then actually start to outscale the Mordekaiser later on. I do like the way that Captain Coffee and, oh my gosh, another really good trade coming out from Sarvis in the mid lane. Omar's already down to a quarter HP Able to use some pots, get himself back up to half health here. Sarver is trading out so aggressively and so well into this lane that should be unplayable for him in the early levels. Sam trying to look for something maybe off to the side here as Sarver's again taking such a good trade. Omar knocking him away with the scatter of the week, but doesn't matter. He's still able to get the 3-hit passive. He does so much damage. Sarver's flashes forward, lands the Q, but he isn't going to be able to pick it up. Omar flashes away as well. Sarver's takes a tower shot. He's kind of low as well now. He's down to half health, but Omar is going to be forced to back and TP back to lane at this point. Sam once again trying to find something cheeky on the side, but Teddy is level 3. It's going to be so hard for him to not just get that spell shielded out. He does press his E button and tries to land the hook, misses the hook, but it would have been spell shielded anyways, as Teddy's able to take a really aggressive return trade there on the back, able to chase down Coffee because he knows that Sam doesn't have any cooldowns. Arnia continuing to bully Draco in this lane. They're not going to have a fun time. 9 CS deficit already, but kind of to be expected. As Lilia is also out farming the Nefiri just by a little bit. We should get to the scuttle first, but Nefiri is just going to beeline it towards the top scuttle and even that out. I'm going to turn down this music a little bit. There we go. The Sarver's managed to get the shove in top in mid lane. Both bot lanes getting a back off. Teddy building towards that Yuntal doesn't have enough for BF, and so he's forced to buy some not great items for himself, as well as probably sit on a little bit of gold. Yeah, he still has 300 gold in his pocket, trying to save up as much as he can for that BF, so he's not going to get optimal buys until then. As Sam misses the E, but he might be able to land the hook here. Actually, Albert flashes over the wall, able to pull the aggro onto them, but both flashes burned there by both Sam and Albert. Bean doesn't even have to flash, he just sort of walks out of turret range, but Omar able to land a stun onto Bean, but he doesn't quite do onto Sam, but he doesn't quite do enough damage to kill quite yet here. Doesn't have the level 6. All that pressure that Sam was applying in the top lane is allowing Albert's Inferno to pressure this bot tower here. And so they might get another back here, but again, Teddy's sitting on 750 gold. He doesn't really have anything to buy here. He might be forced to buy his guy's slingshot, which again is not the ideal purchase right now. As an aggressive trade coming out from Sarver's here in the mid lane. Omar is not quite doing, like I said, as much damage as he was hoping, but still able to trade using his range. As Teddy not actually going to go for the Yuntal this game. Opts instead to go for the Essence Reaver, so he's avoiding that pretty crappy build path. Draco's trying to build some items up, but getting harassed by Arnie. As Omar, trying to look for something, gets the Electrocute proc, is able to do a lot of damage onto Sarverus as he's forced to E away. This pressure continuing to be applied by the Andromeda bot lane. Not crazy far behind in CS like they were last game, so this is definitely an improvement. I like the more aggressive play. Teddy's on a low range carry that doesn't have a lot of impact early, so able to punish him for it this time. But the top lane CS gap is just continuing to grow and grow and grow. Arne is now up 25 CS, almost doubling Draco's farm here. It's not looking like a fun time for the Ornn. Jaco's been doing a really good job of Wing out and making sure they're unstoppable for the Ornn, for the Mordekaiser W, for the Mordekaiser pulls. Taxi, welcome to the chat. This is in fact a live broadcast. You missed a banger of a game 1, but welcome to game 2. Alright, both teams still just content to farm it out, as Arnier is almost there, doubling Draco's CS. Arnier is farming so well. He's at 83 CS, 9 minutes in, almost hitting that 10 per minute mark. But on the other side of the map, we also see Teddy's getting pretty close to that, Sarva's is pretty close to that. Every player in the game really farming quite well. This is a very slow game so far, much more so than last game. As both of these junglers not really the kind to throw many ganks. Timers. There you go. All right. First objective of the game. Grubs have already been taken while I was looking away. Same thing with the first Drake. Those are just going to get traded cleanly. I think if you're both teams, you're pretty okay with that. Pretty okay with the trade that happened. I would be more happy if I was Andromeda getting the Drake there instead of the Grubs. That's just me. I don't think either of these teams really necessarily want the Grubs super bad. As the Ash arrow lands onto the Janna might just be able to press R and stop this play, but really good Thresh Hook lands onto Teddy. I don't know if it's going to matter though, as he's able to just ult and run away. Spell shields the Thresh R, preventing that gigantic slow from coming down instead of having to run through it. As Draco is starting to trade aggressively here onto Arnier. Gets pulled into the Shadow Realm, and we do see Arnier tries to flash the Ornar, but isn't quite able to do it. As now Albert and Omar come top, able to pick up that kill. But Cerberus is doing so much damage in that mid turret in the meantime. He's able to get himself 2 plays. He's probably in a third here. And that's going to be so much gold in the pocket of Cerberus. You're not happy about that if you're Omar. I mean, you're now 600 gold down just from that one play. So not ideal for Omar, but quite nice, and you're quite happy if you are Albert. As Sam is here in the top lane as well, Omar is still here. He's able to land some good damage onto Sam and Arnier as Draco TP's in, but the rest of the Andromeda's here as well. They're just going to continue that fight, get some kills down. As Teddy and Jeremy getting a lot of damage onto that bot turret and almost killing Captain Coffee in the process. Teddy lands a good Q onto Coffee under the tower. I'm surprised he's deciding to stay here. He does have the barrier. We might be able to see a repeat of last game where Teddy goes for an aggressive dive and gets baited by the barrier, but doesn't look like it. Teddy doesn't have any mana up. And Sam is here. Coffee's backing. They're just going to look to take it back here. As in the meantime, Bean is on the Grubs. Able to take that down. That's 3-3 on Grubs now. And if you're Inferno here, you really want to contest that Drake. And he's not quite done with his first item yet. As an Ash Arrow comes mid, not quite going to hit Omar. Sarverus forced to back here. Alistair Inferno now has Prio onto the Drake. Sarverus does have his TP up. So we'll see if and where he decides to use it. Almost certainly he will have to contest this Drake. But we will see what the rest of the play looks like. Now their top laner has TP, so they're not going to be joining the fight, as I wish Spectator would show us the bot lane right now. But I guess it doesn't want to. I'll do it myself. Andromeda is just going to start this Drake up, and Albert's Inferno isn't really in a position to contest this, but they might try and run in here. We do see Albert on the side trying to get in, as the Nefarial is going to be dropped, and Andromeda is going to be able to pick that up cleanly, but the Syndra is going to be able to pick up the Nefari here. Bean's going to die on the back end of that. So it's a nice pick, and but I don't know if it's necessarily worth it if you're Inferno. You really need these Drakes if you want to worry about scaling up. But that's exactly how last game happened. Oh. All right, as we continue on here, I might be getting a fun guest. Say hello, Dean.
Oh, hello.
Welcome. Now we can finally co-cast.
Oh my god, literally never. I did miss some of the other game, but it was an absolute banger from what I saw. Looks like Sarverus is going in here, trying to get something done, but Andromeda appears to have a couple dragons in their advantage, and Grubs were split. It's like...
Yeah, so Andromeda managed to pick up 3 objectives. Grubs went 3-3, and Andromeda got the first 2 Drakes. Honestly, I don't know how happy about that you are. If you're Inferno, you really want those Drakes, especially with the scaling team comp. But Inferno
yeah,
Soul...
what's really standing out to me here is Arnie has a huge lead in the top lane.
Yeah.
I feel like that's
a
huge part of why they have an advantage. Omar is doing really well on the Syndra, and Teddy has a pretty solid CS lead, but Mordekaiser can definitely be a problem. Yeah,
Mordekaiser being ahead into the Ornn is pretty expected, but this ahead is a little unfortunate. Even without any solo kills, it's just pure zoning and good CSing from Arnie.
Can you hit X?
Yeah. It's it's a sizable lead there.
So, yeah. So I think their item parity is there, but it's just that Ornn's been able to buy items in lane, and Mordekaiser's just sitting on 2k.
Yeah, but then you look at the bot lane as well. Teddy's been able to pick up every single plate in the bot lane, and he's 1100 gold up as...
Yeah, and as we say this, Nefari coming in for a collapse, Teddy is going to burn the spell shield earlier, not able to find anything, but the engage just comes down onto Jeremy. He's able to pop the Janna ultimate and just completely defuse the play. Really well played. Albert is sitting in the bush here, and he's able to find a sleep. They could have a countering.
Yeah, not quite going to be able to find the tornado to find that counter engage you were talking about. But in the meantime, the tower got dropped.
Down. I don't think they're going to be able to walk forward, but Albert just face checks into the Nefari. A bit of a wasted ultimate there.
Yeah, not quite what you not quite all the kills you want to see there, but you did achieve, I think, what the primary objective of that play bot lane was for Inferno, which is getting that first tower. So your next kill of the game gets feats, and it might just be here. Never mind. Sarverus just taking half of Omar's health for fun.
Yeah, he's going in now. He's actually able to buffer the E through, isn't able to find the kill. Sarverus actually didn't end up picking Echo or really contesting it at all during our series. He just kind of banded out. So I'm glad to see that he is confident in the matchup versus other players. definitely a pick I enjoy watching play.
Yeah, with that Hail
I
of
was
Blaze, he was
wondering
able to
how I
get some
had your
really
stream
crazy
muted, but I
trades
remember
early.
that one time you were drafting and you had like all the brain rot stuff everywhere. It was nonstop noise.
Oh man, I should have done the brain rot draft for the stream.
You
To
know,
introduce it to the wider audience.
A rat in the corner is good enough.
Yeah.
Arnie getting a really good trade there and is just able to completely mitigate the tower shot with this W.
Yeah, and Sivir moving to the mid lane here makes a lot of sense. I mean, you have so much push power, you're able to just keep that mid lane shoved. You can look for the Rift Herald on the side if you're Inferno. And
Yeah,
trying to
I'm
keep
kinda
Sarvis
scared
trapped in a
with the
side lane is
Syndra.
nice.
Yeah, but I feel like it's a lot less safe with the Syndra. A lot of times she's been able to just retreat the tower to save the solo kill from happening, especially with Feats coming up soon. It's a little bit risky, especially with Flash not up, and it is up for Echo.
Yeah, that's true. Being in a longer lane gives Echo more room to just run the Syndra down.
Yeah, it looks like they're not going to start the Rift Herald here. Could be looking to force a fight on Drake in about 10 seconds. Teleport is available for Arnie and Sarvis, and it's only available for Omar on the other side. So they definitely have... Andromeda has the advantage going for its Dragon, but it's a little more even if they're looking for Rift Herald. Gold has completely evened out though, but Andromeda should be a little stronger just with the Dragon buffs.
Yeah, Dragon buffs are giving you a little value, but the gold on just like last game, Omar's mouse died.
It's okay.
Just
It's
like
Steady's team. It's pause central.
well, at least it's not as bad as that Metabusters game the other day. The gold though for Inferno is kind of exactly where you want it. You have a Syndra with a lot of gold, not quite as much gold as the Echo, so not crazy happy in the lane matchup. But I mean, look at how much gold Teddy has. He's been able to pick up so many plays. He got every single play in the bot lane. Plus he's most CS in the game. You have so much gold on this Sivir. He's sitting pretty happy right now. However, on the other side, Mordekaiser Echo are exactly the people who are going to be killing the Sivir. So
Yeah, I mean, you just kind of gotta hope that the Sivir's gonna have enough damage to just kill them before they get on top of her. And if you're like an absolute god, you could probably spell shield Mordekaiser ult, which makes your life a lot easier. Mordekaiser not having Ghost here, I think makes his life a lot harder. There's not too much stuff you want to flash this game. So I'm wondering how much value he's getting out of that sum.
yeah, honestly, it might just be for flash Rs if you want to try and hit the Sivir in the backline. Or the Syndra. Because it's going to be so hard to get on top of the enemy team with the Janna there and the Ornn stopping you from walking up. So if you're really trying to hit the backline with the Mordekaiser R, then Flash might be your only option.
Yeah, I mean, we are kind of sitting here at a pause. Inferno does have the advantage of getting a tower. I think as this comp gets late game, it's going to be a lot easier for them to execute, whereas Andromeda's going to have to play with the Neferi and Echo and try and look for some more creative plays. They are supported a lot by the Ashe, but you have a kind of like two very different comps because Hong, Omar, and Albert need to all play long range, whereas you're just kind of hoping that the Ashe is going to provide enough support with the slows to help all the melee carries on Andromeda get in. But if Inferno ever really ends up on the back foot, they're just going to get absolutely steamrolled if these melee champions can get on top of them. So I think even though they are the scaling comp, they need to make sure that they don't fall too far behind, or the game's going to be really tough for them.
Yeah, exactly, and that's kind of what we saw last game as well. These two teams have very differing playstyles. Andromeda likes to play aggressive, pick heavy comps, like this one and like the Nocturne Twisted Fate that we saw last game.
Yeah.
Whereas Albert's Inferno likes to play the big 5v5 scaling Deathball comps. Last game we did see a much bigger lead at this point for Andromeda. So Albert's Inferno, if they're able to continue, if they're able to continue this pace of game up, they're pretty happy about it. They haven't lost any towers. The gold is dead even. So
Yeah, fact that it's Cloud Soul is really bad for Inferno, considering they're behind on it. If these melee champions get that out of combat move speed, it's going to be really bad for them. If you have backspace, it tends to unstick itself.
I got nothing. I think we just waited out. Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
So, where's that purple buff coming from? I swear I saw a purple buff on Sivir. That just may have been the W buff with that skin.
Maybe.
But Andromeda, good positioning on the Drake. I don't think Inferno's going to be able to contest it. Instead, they're just going to run up to the Herald and
Sarva's got a purple buff too. Yeah, I mean, I think Herald for drag trade is always going to benefit the team that picks up the dragon. I think you can get some stuff done with Herald, but it's definitely not one of the stronger objectives in the game, especially with Soul Point going over Andromeda before it's won.
Yeah, we might be able to see a 24-minute Soul here, and to be honest, I don't know if you really want to get such an early Soul if you're Andromeda. By the time Elder rolls around, it might be cooked.
Yeah, especially with how good Inferno was last game at getting the Elders. If they have the same success rate, it's really bad for you. And Sivir's just going to apply it to everybody. The rage advantage is going to mean that Elder is so much better on them.
Oh, is
really
Omar
good
lands
stun
a really good
from
stun.
Omar might be able to just find the one shot. The damage is so close. Any more would have knocked him down. Had he just not able to get in range to W the wave, which would have picked up the kill there. So close to picking up beats there. Albert and Draco should be able to find his kill though. Death Realm is coming out. I can't tell who it's on, but I think they're just going to be able to pick this up.
Yeah, I think Ornn may have actually unstoppable it. I think they both continued to hit.
Where you can unstoppable to get rid of it, like with Olaf or like Alistar and Gangplank cleanses, but just being able to unstoppable the initial CC.
Yeah, I think it did end up getting unstoppable because I did see the Lilia and the Ornn both hitting the Mordekaiser after using it.
Yeah, and Sivir being able to pick up the upgraded boots this game is going to have a lot of value. Normally, I know that they're not the highest priority item, but having that extra move speed can counteract some of the power that the Cloud Soul is going to give. Yeah.
Plus, Sivir is a champion that tends to build raw AD in all of her items except for Navori, so which isn't the highest attack speed Zeal item in the game. So it's nice to have a little bit of extra attack speed from just for playing the video game.
Yeah, I think it feels really good that you picked up beats there. Good gank coming out from Albert. I think it is really interesting that they subbed from Fishy to Draco. I wonder if that was kind of like forced by timing, but I think it's kind of a good trick that you allow yourself to end up with Lilia, because a lot of teams will just ban it thinking that it's for Fishy, but honestly, like Albert's Lilia is almost just as high priority for bans. I've been saying this, no one listens, that's kind of how it goes, but I think he's gonna have a pretty good game as this goes forward. Obviously, it's a bit lower priority when the flex potential is down, and I believe that they dedicated all 3 first-round bans to the bot lane, which I think is not a bad idea, but the amount of comfort on Albert's Inferno right here is definitely not something that you can underestimate. These are probably like tied for, if not the most comfortable champion for everyone on Albert's, and Andromeda's kind of fallen down a little bit. We have really high comfort in the bot lane, but now Sarvis is going in. Really good scatter from Omar, but does have to flash to save himself.
Oh, Sarvis not going to be able to land the flash over the wall as Albert's running in at Mach 5. Trying to catch that out. As the arrow's going to whiff because Albert's decided to disengage there as Jeremy throwing a cloud at Sarvis.
Yeah, I love how aggressive Jeremy's been playing this game. A lot of Janna players will just play her purely defensively, so seeing Jeremy know when he's able to step up and get these aggressive trades down is super fun.
Yeah, these two tanks are hitting each other.
Yeah, Draco should
drops
live
kind of
here.
low, but yeah, not gonna die.
I think if that pullback happened, there's a chance for Arnie to be able to chase it down, but not having the Rylai's means that Ornn can get back to tower pretty quickly. But I definitely agree with getting the extra damage early.
as all 3 outer towers are down for Andromeda, where Inferno has only lost their mid tower. Honestly, I'm surprised the top lane tower hasn't gone down for, like, I'm surprised Draco's top lane tower hasn't gone down yet, given the amount of pressure that Arn has been able to apply.
Yeah, I feel like Mordekaiser just sucks at taking towers. Like, once you get like a Nash, or if you're able to free hit, you can take him pretty quickly just by the fact you're an AP champion, but if you're not allowed to free hit, it's really hard for you to just walk up and force it.
Yeah,
especially as most Mordekaisers don't run Demolish.
Yeah, and with Drake coming up in 15 seconds, I really like Albert's Inferno trying to get the
hook comes out right here from Sam, and he dives in with the initiation. Albert trying to get his sleep down on as many people as possible. Janna ult is forced out, and Albert's popped immediately, but is able to get the ulti down. Ornell is going to wake up Coffee on the back of the fight. He's now free hitting onto Draco, but Draco's able to just walk out. I don't think they're going to be able to trade a kill back here, and this might just be soul picked up for Andromeda.
Yeah, I mean, you lost Lilia there. You don't have your jungler anymore, as they're going to try and face check here.
Coming out from Sam. I don't know if they're going to be able to engage on that one. And the teleport's coming in from behind. I don't know if they're aware of it. There's a ward that was just placed, so they're going to be able to see that. But I think Arnie's presence does just secure this dragon. Any attempt to steal is probably just going to get Mordekaiser ulted, but Lily is not even in the area, so it's probably not worth it to try.
Yeah, and Sivir's running up towards the top lane to clear that. Really unfortunate that you have to give up Soul here. Like you said, the melees on Andromeda are very, very happy to get that Cloud Soul.
Yeah, Sarv's and Bean's flanks are going to be absolutely terrifying. They're just going to be able to run around so fast, especially with the Cloud Zones on the map. The only thing that Alberts can be happy with is that they're even in gold, so they're going to stay on a pretty even item pace, team versus team. And Hong's almost completed the Infinity Edge, which is going to be pretty major. But yeah, you're not going to let this Cloud Soul. Souls are about like 7,000 to 8,000 gold if you add up the previous dragons. So huge advantage, and now they're completely making use of it. Being just running at like Mach 5, and they're able to pick up a pretty easy shutdown onto Homar there.
Yeah, the hypersonic dog is not anything you want to scoff at. Able to run really fast and make it down to the bot lane. Teddy's gonna spell shield the hook.
Now he doesn't have it for the Ashura, so he's just gonna get picked up. And now Beans from behind, able to rotate to mid so quickly, and now dashes in onto Albert. The sleep is available, but you kind of don't want to use it just on the Neferi, and luckily Jenna and Lilia have enough speed to just run out of there. But it was an even game in terms of gold a couple minutes ago, and now they're already up by 1.5k just a few seconds after getting the soul. It's going to be even more after Sark wins this tower.
Yeah, that Soul's making a big difference. Andromeda's able to make plays around the map and kind of start to blow open their lead and explode this game.
Yeah, it almost feels like the game's just gonna have to come down to an elder flip because it's so hard to contest when you're not grouped up as 5. It makes your macro so difficult, just with how quickly the dog and Echo are able to run around.
Yeah, I'm honestly a little shocked that Inferno's only as far down as, like, they're only like 2,500 gold down. I mean, look at the CS numbers are across the board generally positive for Andromeda, except for Teddy. Plus, you have more kills, more objectives, more towers.
Yeah, I think they had just evened out the towers, but I mean, basically all of your gold leads on Sivir, so you're gonna need to Pilfer and kind of just pray that Syndra's gonna be able to get a pick off here. Albert gets chunked there, but nothing that he really needs to worry about. CS has closed out of it in the top lane. They're maybe looking to start a fight here, but I think just gonna get some poke down. Barrier and heal are both down for Alberts, which I think makes fighting a little bit tougher. The only key summoner
Teddy gets hit by a hook here. He's just gonna be dead.
yeah, he just gets caught. Taken down, and now Jeremy is going to get run down by Ash. The scatter is going to save him, but he might be able to find a one-shot, and Omar able to find a return kill, shutdown going over to him. But Sarvis now finally able to find a kill onto the support. Jeremy going down for the first time this game. And Sarvis is not done. He's looking for more. The sleep could come out, but there's just no reason to do it. He's too far away.
Another good hook lands onto Draco here.
Yeah, that Mordekaiser ult is not going to do it, but it does force out the flash. And now the two sleepy members are actually left alone from the Mordekaiser. He's not able to help him. Now Arnie's back in the fight, but the Ornn is just going to line him up. Sam's not going to die, though. And now Draco's going to be taken down. And they just have nothing in return. That was so close to being really good for them, but just not able to find either kill.
Yeah. I really liked Albert's idea of running in onto the two who are sleepy while the Mordekaiser ulted himself out, but not able to get anything off of it. As again and again, Albert's Inferno seems to be struggling to find kills this game.
Yeah, you're really lacking engage. You kind of have to just hope that the Ornn ult and the Lilia ult do stuff, and they were able to use both of them there, but it was after the fight had already been over, and they just didn't have enough damage to follow up with it.
Yeah, like Guru just said in chat, there's so little CC on the side of Albert's Inferno that it makes it really easy for Echo to run around. I mean, you also have the Nefiri, the Ashe, the Mordekaiser, especially with Cloud Soul. Makes it really easy to kite them out.
I mean, Albert's is just one of those comps where you need to be ahead to be powerful, and if you are, you're very strong. But as soon as you fall behind and can't get to objectives first, it's really tough. And honestly, with the pick comp that Andromeda has, even if you are getting there first, the amount of like flank potential and stuff, it's hard. Syndra can only cover so many degrees of the screen with their scatter. Janna's is a full 360 though.
Yeah, I mean, you have a decent bit of disengage on the side of Albert's. I think you just have to wait for late and pray that the Syndra Sivir are going to come online.
Yeah, but Elder's up in 10 seconds. There's only so much waiting for late you can do.
Yeah.
You kind of have to be there already, and they just need to hope that Albert doesn't get picked again. But this is almost full ornaments. Everyone except for Janna is upgraded, and Teddy should be able to put down so much damage this fight if he doesn't get picked out like he did before, but that absolutely needs to not happen. And now they are just starting up the Elder, and Albert needs to walk over to controller to get there. How Albert plays this is going to be crucial.
I mean, you're already so late. Albert is just forced to run in. He gets Mordekaiser ulted here, so he's not able to steal the
Dragon
break.
dropping down to 3k, and the smite is going to come through for Nefiri. So Elder is going over to Andromeda. I think they should just be able to clean up the smite.
Oh, but Teddy flashes forward. He's able to get the
He's
Ashe. Not going to be able to pick up the Echo, but almost gets it.
And Sarv lives 10 HP there.
Oh, so did
Draco
Lee.
played that fight amazingly, but it just didn't matter. And two members of Andromeda walking away with like 1% health.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it was a good try, but it becomes really hard.
Yeah, if they get an ace there, it may be game ending. So do need to shout out how well Draco played that really good flank on the Ornn. They were able to get it down to just a 50-50 flip on the Dragon. Unfortunately for Albert, Bean was just better hands with the smite, was able to secure that. But yeah, now it's just that much harder for Albert to find any fights. This is a 32-minute Otacon?
Quite late.
Just going to guarantee them the Baron.
Post Elder Otacon, but
that might be the first time that's ever happened.
But yeah, I mean, I don't think if you're in Albert's Inferno, you can't walk up. You can't show yourself on the map right now with how strong the Nefiri and the Echo are.
Yeah,
and how fast they can get on your face.
You have some wave clear. I think that's kind of all there is to do now.
Yeah. Even still, now with the Baron buff, it's going to be really hard for the Sivir to clear those waves.
Yeah, Yeah, and it's really lucky for, not lucky, but it's very convenient for Andromeda that the next set of spawns is staggered by a minute 30, so you don't end up in a scenario where there's like a possible flip. It's very easy for them to just walk to the objective they need to be at and just close it out. Sarvis gets like a 1500 health shield from his W.
Yeah, Sam walks up aggressively, lands a hook onto Draco as Bean's trying to look for something in the backline.
A good ult from Jeremy is able to dissuade this for a little bit. The Ornn ult is coming through, and the scatter was amazing on top of that. They're actually able to get 2 withdrawals right off the start of the fight, but Sarvis is able to press that ultimate button, and they still have 4 Elders because they weren't able to pick off those members. That's a triple for Sarvis. He's going to withdraw also. Or no, that was Zonia's. He's able to get another kill.
Sarvis with a quadra kill.
Yeah, this is probably just going to be the game.
Yeah, I can't imagine that Draco's going to be able to do anything here. You have so many members of Andromeda also just running it down mid here.
And even if you withdraw Arnie, he's just going to TP back.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, next respawn's in 20 seconds, so this should just be Andromeda's game to end right here. Ashe and Nefiri just running as fast as they can. I don't think the bot lane of Alphys is going to be able to stop them.
Yeah, and yeah, that's just going to be game. That was a...
I guess if you ever sit there and think to yourself, hey, maybe dragons aren't that important, you're just wrong.
Yeah. But wow, that game felt so slow until very suddenly, the moment Andromeda got the soul, it just spiraled so out of control for Albert's Inferno so quickly.
Yeah, I'm gonna let you call MVP this game because I was not here the whole time.
Oh, I didn't do game 1 either. I think game 1 is probably Sarver's. This game, I would say it's between Bean and Sarv. I think.
Yeah, I would shout Sam also. I feel like he was.
No, Sam got really good picks. He got 2 picks onto Teddy pretty early on.
Also that last dragon fight, or maybe the third one, he was able to find the hook onto Albert that basically completely shut the whole thing down.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? I'm learning. I'm a support. I'm a support denier, so I think it is very deserved for him this game. I think you're right. Should probably go to Sam.
All right, I will pull Sarvin though. You know.
Yeah, absolutely.
You gotta.
Yeah.
Hello, we have kidnapped you.
Oh no, what's up?
Your MVP interview duties.
MVP.
Game 1. We gave it to Sam for game 2, but
Hey, he deserved.
yeah, what's your breakdown of that series? The first game was a long banger, multiple Elder Dragons going to the other team. You still managed to pull it out, and this last one, you got the Elder Dragon and won. So.
Yeah, I mean, game 1, of course, 50-minute banger. It's becoming the Andromeda classic. But I just feel like in game 1, like we got an early lead, but then eventually with the Zeri, they just are a better team fighting comp than us. We just lose 5v5. And we kind of felt that, especially like when we start up objective fights. It was really, really hard to deal with them. And we kind of made the call, like, we've got to start side laning and have to try to win the game that way. And they had Elder, they felt really strong, so they took a fight, and they just kind of left me alone bot lane. I don't know if they didn't know how fast TF pushes, or if they just thought they could end in time, but it was a really, really close, hard-fought game. But then that game, I mean, my breakdown is, if you're playing against Hong, the enemy team is just, like, gonna be really good at team fighting. And, like, he's really hard to kill in fights. They play really well around him. They play really well front to back. So you kind of have to win other places and then try to just beat them, either smack them over the head with your lead like we did this game, or beat them in a macro sense, because they're just so hard to beat when Teddy's free hitting in fights.
Yeah, I think he made that very evident. You guys formulated a really scary pick comp in game 1. I mean, you had the Nocturne, you had the Ashe, you had the TF, and he still made it really hard for you to find picks.
Yeah, I mean, his area was crazy. I mean, it was just like, we thought we had a pick, and then he just, ult kite back, and he's just completely shredding us, and it's just really, really hard to play. But we kind of were like, well, let's take him off all of these like super hard kite back 80 carries that he's really good on, and we'll just see if we can force him onto something that's a little less comfort and try to beat him before he just scales up. And so we put a really hard focus on getting Drakes this game, and it worked out for us.
Yeah, it worked out really well. I mean, the moment you got that Cloud Soul, it really opened up the game.
Yeah, they may have nerfed it, but Cloud Soul's still OP. It's so good.
I think you should do us all a favor and go to your post game, get a screenshot of the gold graph right when you took Soul, and just send it, because it's going to be very even until that point, and then drop off a cliff.
Yeah, I mean the game felt pretty even. I mean, we hopped on the stream right after the game ended, and I heard you talking about like the 30-minute Otacon, but I don't know, my read on that objective is just so hard to start when all 5 members of the enemy team are up, and there was just so many times, like there was so much of the game where all 5 people on each team were up, and I don't know, I just feel like it shreds your resistances too much, and if you're the team to start it, you have a really big disadvantage. So
Yeah, it's definitely not meant as a criticism. I just thought it was
Yeah.
funny that it was being taken after Elder Dragon.
I mean, yeah, it was pretty funny. We were struggling to figure out which one we wanted to take first. We were like, we had to find out where they were first, because if we took Elder, we didn't want to just give them Atacon and Baron for free. But we also couldn't take Otacon and Baron and risk giving them Elder either. So it was kind of just like, okay, let's see where they are, and then we'll kind of decide what to do. So they all showed bot, and I was just like, well, we're so strong here, let's just start Elder. And that's what we ended up doing.
Yeah. So, sorry, jumping back to game 1 for a second.
Yeah.
So you gave Fishy his Lilia top, and then you prepared was the Olaf counterpick prepared? Because we've never seen Arnie play that before, to my knowledge. Was that something you guys had prepped beforehand?
I don't think it was prepared necessarily for the Lilia. Arnie's just been playing a lot of Olaf. It's kind of like his spirit animal champ. Like, he just pops his ult, and then he just starts like screaming in our chat, and our mental just goes crazy. But I don't know, Arnie, like every time he's played the Olaf, he looks really clean, in my opinion. Like he's insane. So I don't know, I really like that pick for Arnie. And I don't know, he's just insane. I mean, if it were me playing on 300 ping, I couldn't do it. I don't know how he does it, but he is just
why he's insane.
maybe. I mean, maybe he's just like so buffed by the ping. It's just, or maybe people just underestimate him because of his ping. I don't know, but he's insane.
Yeah, I have one last question for you. Your next opponent, if the scheduling goes well, should be BB. So, I guess, do you have anything you want to say leading up to that series? And then the other question is, they're playing Fruitcakes right now. Do you have any predictions?
My prediction's Fruitcakes 2-0. I think, despite Mason's insistence that his team is struggling, I still think Fruitcakes is a good team, and I think that they'll do pretty well into BB. I think BB's been struggling a lot. I think if they can figure out, I think if they can figure out, how to play their lineups, and like put people in the right positions to succeed, maybe they can pull out some wins. But I think it's really tough for them right now. So yeah, my prediction is Fruitcakes 2-0. I think that team's really good. Like, despite us beating them 2-0, like they played us really close, and I really think Ollie is a really strong player. So
yeah, for sure.
As for our matchup against BB, like, I don't know. It's hard because they haven't won besides the FF that they got earlier in the season, and we're undefeated. So it's hard for me to say like anything like too down on my team. I think my team is insane, and we'll probably win 2-0. But I definitely think they have a chance. I mean, we've shown that like we are shaky sometimes, and we can have some 50-minute games. Like, we've been pulling them out, but if they can force us into a 50-minute game and we kind of choke, then I think they can take a game off of us. But I think we'll still win.
Gotcha. I love the confidence. All right, well, thanks for hopping on, and thanks again, Soft, for casting. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'm just riding your coattails by hopping in the last minute. So
Hey, well, I appreciate you hopping in as well. I was getting lonely.
all right, well, GG's to both Andromeda and Alberts. It was fun. Good to watch the series live.
All right, and I think the next streamed game will probably be Fruitcakes versus BB, which is happening right now. And
Yeah,
we'll
I'm
catch you guys.
hoping we can get in Rift Sharks versus 101 Thieves before the Metabusters Inferno game tomorrow, just because I can cast Fruitcakes. Mason wanted to cast the Rift Sharks one before. I don't know. We'll let you know. I'll keep it updated in announcements. So just feel free to tune in tomorrow. Hopefully, we'll get a stream around 7:30 or so, and then we can kind of go into the series tomorrow night at 9. So good luck to Inferno again and Metabusters tomorrow.
All right, and with that, we'll make sure to tune into the stream, like Dean said, and we'll catch you tomorrow.